Bradford City have today released a statement saying that Chisom, Afoka, is no longer a Bantam. He has now gone back to Aston Villa Football Club. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. Like the video if you do come to, so subscribe if you're new as well. Heading towards 300 subscribers, so all the support's massively appreciated. Friday, today I was going to do my monthly review for December. That will be out on Friday. We're going to be talking about the article that Simon Parker released last night for two Bantams. I have interest in those two players, and one of them might take you surprise, and you might get quite giddy that player could be heading the way of a fellow team. But we are here to talk about Chisom Afoka, so we'll obviously talk about him, his time at Bradford City, and I will start with that. So 5 games he only played at Bradford City, Chisom Afoka, and it's a shame that it didn't work out, of course, but it's as much part to blame on the recruitment staff and Mark Hughes for me that man has not been able to develop into a footballer who can do anything for Bradford City or a club high up the pyramid to try and work his way up. If you're only starting 5 games, you've not had enough time to prove yourself in the team. You've not had enough time to show what you're about so you can develop at the football club. And that's got to be blamed on Mark Hughes for panicking on the last day of the transfer window, bringing in Adam Wilson, Chisom Afoka, Tulloch and Tompkinson in the last couple of days. 2 of them I like, and I like Tulloch, but I will probably do a video later on today or in the coming days about him departing City, because it looks like he'll be recalled, and they're 2 easy options to get rid of, because Afoka's probably at the bottom of the pecking order for wingers, and Tulloch's probably next in line to that. Unfortunately, I did like Tulloch, but I'll get onto that when the time comes. But with Afoka, he played against Grimsby, and that was probably his best game, and he only made a 20-minute cameo or so, and he came on with Tulloch, and they both looked very tricky players with a lot of flair and a bit of pace, and they looked like they were dangerous and could create stuff, and I was quite excited when I saw them come on. But with that game, it was quite an easy game to change the tide, because we sat back and parked the bus for the first 50 minutes. We made changes, and then Grimsby were parking the bus, and it ended up being a drab 1-1 draw, I think it was. But he came on, and I had a bit of optimism about him, because he came on and looked hungry to try and change the game and looked quite tricky. So it's a shame that the next week he then had to play up front, because if we didn't have Cook out injured, Smith injured and Oliver injured and Derbyshire just a waste of time, you know, he could have been a player who got the nod next week to play as a left winger, and then he might have got a bit of momentum, but that didn't work out for him. He played up front. He was really weak. Didn't show any physicality, got pushed off the ball, didn't have the striker's mouse to be able to nous. He didn't have the striker's nous to be able to be in the right areas for crosses. We looked so disjointed with him playing up front. He was always linking over to the left side. So he had a terrible game there and didn't get back in. He didn't have a chance to prove himself on the left wing apart from those EFL trophy. If you're playing with wingers, which we don't at the minute, but at the start of the season we were, you only need 4. You need 1 on one side, 1 on the other, and then 2 backups for both sides. We've got Chapman, Afoka, Tulloch, Poynton, Odra, Wilson, that's 6, right? And then you've got Young coming back, who's more of a winger than a striker, I'd say. He likes to come in on that side. Osadebe could play there, Gilliard could play there, obviously you're clutching at straws there, but if you've only got 4, you've got them 2 for cover on that side. Walker as well, you're clutching at straws, but he has played there this season, and Tyler Smith have both played on the wing this season for us, when you've got all those wingers. So, you know, they could have been given a chance over them. So they're lower in the pecking order than Tyler Smith and Jamie Walker, and maybe Osadebe, he might have played on the wing this season. So that shows how far down Afoka was, and it was an easy and inevitable decision to get him out the door. And I will now go to Simon Parker's article from last night at 12 o'clock, I think it came out, so I only read it this morning, and it's a brilliant read, because it's an interview with Alexander talking about the interest that has been shown for 2 Bradford City players and the fact that he wants to trim his squad. So he did start by saying there's a thought process and discussions going on in-house, but you don't have them with the players until January opens up, because then it can't be acted on. There will be chats between me and a few players to see what they want to do and how they see their futures. If we can bring in anybody to help us improve, then we're going to try and do it. but there will be more outgoings than in, and that was inevitable as well. As you know, if you've got an inflated squad, you don't need to keep bumping it up. We look to have around 22 outfield players, give or take 1 or 2 either way. 27 is obviously too many at the minute. So Afoka's gone. That means we're probably looking at trying to get rid of 4 more players. Where would you look to get rid of? If you had to get rid of 4 players tomorrow, where do you start? Because I'm quickly starting with Matt Derbyshire. If anyone's interested in him, get rid. You know, we've got 5 strikers now. We only need 4. Get rid of him. Osadebe, I'm looking at that number 8 position. He's terrible. You know, just a waste of space and time. Apart from he's probably a good character, but you don't need characters. You need footballers who can act on the pitch every week, and he can't. So I'd be looking at a number 8. One of Taylor and Stubbs. On form, Taylor has been better, and Stubbs' contract is up at the end of the season. As a footballer, who would I prefer to have? I'd prefer to have Stubbs. I think he reads the game really well. But Taylor, you know, they both provide very different things, but they both provide no pace. So you've got to pick one, and I think I would be leaning on picking Taylor, because on form Stubbs hasn't been performing, but Stubbs is younger. So I'm conflicted with them too, and it's literally toss a coin and see which side it turns. But I think the more logical one is Stubbs, because he hasn't been on form. His contract's up at the end of the season, and Taylor's a new signing. We've got to make him work. We've already loads of pressure on him. So I think Stubbs will go, so that's 3. And then you've got to get rid of a couple more wingers. You know, you've got Point, I've already said it all, but for me, one of Point and Wilson or Odra has to go out on loan. It won't be Odra starting week in, week out, getting goal contributions, starting week in, week out at the minute anyway. Wilson or Poynton, you could loan them both out. You've got more than enough cover if you are going to do that, because you've already got Chapman, whose contract's up at end of the season as well. So maybe he goes out on loan, or we get a small fee for him, which wouldn't make sense if his contract's out. Teams would wait. So there's so many avenues you can go down, but I think I'd go with loaning out Poynton, and that's a ballsy one, and it's a controversial one, because a lot of people want him to be starting. But for me, for versatile players like Wilson or Odra, I think they give more with that, and I think they've slightly done a bit more. Love him, but give him a loan spell and try and get him more experience playing week in, week out, because being on the bench doesn't help him, let's face it. So I think that's what I'd do with the 4, but there's still more players I'd like to offload, because I don't think they're quite good enough. But anyway, I've gone on way too long about that with Alexander. Moving on, he did say it's a bit flabby, and I feel for the players not involved in match days. They are good players and good pros, but we can only pick 11 or 18. You know, basically what I've said with Afoka, it's not fair on him not starting matches when he's been promised that to come here and develop. And he said some might come to me and say they want to look elsewhere to get some game time. That's what happens. We tried to come to a compromise that suits all, but at the end of the day, my responsibility is to do the best for Bradford City. I don't just have that as my only concern. I want to look after players and do the right thing by them, but ultimately it has to suit them and our club, and I understand that. It's about treating them with respect and honesty. Sometimes they may not like what they hear, but there will always be clear discussions. Players know where they stand with me, and I always want to get their ideas as well. And that's what I like about Alexander. You know, he's just no nonsense with the way he speaks. It's all very clear, and he ain't going to get misled with anything. But also, before then, he did say that it is understood that there's been interest shown in Osadebe and Sam Stubbs. So that's interesting, that there is interest in Osadebe and Stubbs. He did say with that, Alexander, it's a two-way street. It's not just me saying one thing, and it's important for the players have their say. Some might come to me and say they want to look elsewhere to get some game time. That's what happens. Moving on into Jake Young, just a little thing. I don't know if I've missed this somewhere, but Yorkshire Post did put out something with Jake Young in the last few hours. I don't know if this is an exclusive from them, or they've heard it from BBC Radio Leeds or somewhere of Graham Alexander talking about Jake Young after a game or something, but he did say he's not a player we are looking to sell. We want good players to help us win games, and that's the key thing there. So apparently he has said we are not looking to sell Jake Young. Osadebe, interest shown in him and Sam Stubb, which is huge, and we have also seen Odrat be recalled by his club, which is big news, good news, because there's another player down, and to get that squad down and to hopefully try and get a more well-rounded squad for Alexander and his team to work with. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. Unfortunately for Afoka, his time at Raft City is up. He will be one of those players who you forget about very quickly. But for me, it's a waste of talent that we haven't been able to develop, and I feel for him on that side. But hopefully we can get more deals like that done within the next couple of days, get more players out, and hopefully add a few really good additions to that squad. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on everything we've discussed today. Like the video if you did, and subscribe for more, but also subscribe so you don't miss a video, because like I said, we are getting straight in with the content now. So yeah, there'll be a video out tomorrow with a preview. There might be another video out if there's any more transfer news, and there will be a monthly review on Friday. So do your community poll. It will be up now for your player of the month, your goal of the month, and if there's anything else on there, do it as well. So yeah, remember to watch the last couple of videos as well. The match reaction from Monday's defeat to Crewe, yesterday's video on Jake Young. All the support is massively appreciated. Have a good one.